Warm welcome back to the Core Chat podcast. We've been away for a few weeks. That's mainly my fault. Mainly my fault because I was away on holidays. But welcome back, guys. And as always, I am
blame Irish.
But as always, guys, I am joined by my co-host. But he deserves a better intro this time, you guys, because, ladies and gentlemen, I am proud to introduce to you guys the reigning, defending, undisputed, ultimate Battle League champion of the world! The one!
I would like to
the
point
only OPJellicent!
That was quite the intro. I would just like to point out, there has not been an announcement in the Discord or the Twitter. I feel personally victimized by this. I need to hit up Otto.
You need
have
to
this fixed.
Do you know what? He's just sour. He's sour that he didn't make playoffs. He's like, screw this league. I'm doing my own league. Quite legitimately, he was like, fuck this. I'm doing my own league. And I'm going to get players so I could get into playoffs. Oh my god.
Hey, I'll take it. But yeah, we'll be talking more about UBL after some other stuff. But
afterwards, exactly, guys.
Yeah, we're back. Once
back.
again, it's Irish's fault. There was a big break, so
big
break,
break,
Irish, and
then Jelly Johned me for a few days, and I eventually told him I didn't realize you were John, and then he kind of said, "All right, we'll do it tomorrow," and tomorrow's today, and we're doing it. And we're doing it.
We're here.
We're here. Right.
Yeah. You want to start things off with just the Smogon update?
Yeah, we'll do a quick rundown as to what we're going to be talking about today, you guys, and all that kind of good stuff. First things first, there's no Smogon. There's no Smogon news. We got nothing to update you guys. We got no pains to break down, and that's a major kind of thorn on our side because it's something that we obviously want to talk to you guys about. But when we have no news or if we don't have any kind of cool takes to give you guys on the podcast, then we can't exactly do that. So very, very disappointing that we don't have any to give you guys there. The other thing is we've made no progress with finding new and upcoming leagues to highlight as per you guys' suggestions a couple of weeks ago. Mainly that's down to because I was away on holidays for a couple 2.5 weeks, and Jenny said, well, if Irish is away having fun, I'm not going to do anything. So
hey, that's not what it is. I started college. I have a life now. It's actually
wait, what? You have a what now?
I have this thing called a life.
Oh my god, you actually found one.
I know, right? It's like I didn't have one over the summer.
I'm proud. I'm proud of you, man. Proud of you. And but what's called between all these different sections not being ran, obviously we have our own. We're doing hot take in a moment. I literally every time I have an idea, I just spun it. I just put it to Jelly when we're on when we're recording, and I force him to give me an answer. It's the best way of doing it.
Yeah, he never told me. I mean, this is only the second time, but I have a feeling I'm never going to be told.
Never going to be told. But I was thinking, right, what we could do as a cool segment is if we have I'm going to call it Fix My Team segment.
Ooh,
right?
That's interesting.
Where somebody sends in either a Smogon or a Draft League team. And now if you're going to send a Draft League team, we're going to need all the details. But they send in a team.
We need the matchup, Z-move users, all that stuff.
All that stuff. Like they would say draft a team or they're coming into a brand new league and they're allowed to make changes. And they're going to ask us what do we think should change, and we would give our takes on it based on like our opinion on like what kind of play styles we play and all that. And Jenny and I would go separately, come up with our ideas, then come together, and we would like go back and forth as to what could be done, what nice changes you have, and have a bit of a chat about that, because that would be kind of a nice little like team building kind of scrimmage. But but being a bit more lighthearted as well, where we're not actually going too in depth. We can kind of say, I think this one should be good. I think that one should be good.
Yeah. Also, leave us the Draft League's information if you can, because we would love to just leave the information down below in the description, the name, the YouTube link if there is one. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, all that kind of good info. If you want us to do the segment, send us the team, send us the info, and we'll get right on that.
We got you. Yeah,
we got you. Right. Coming up on today's podcast, we have Irish's hot take. I'm doing it again this week. I feel like the way I said it, I just basically sound like I told Jenny I'm doing it. So
no, I couldn't find anything. I'll have something by next week, but I couldn't get anything.
He'll have something next week. We're going to have quick recaps on the UBL, BBL, and EWF or yeah,
Why does that?
EWT,
What do you put
EWT.
there?
Sorry, guys. But we're going to save the WB to last because that is going to be the big highlight,
Yeah.
and that should be good. I should be
All
good.
right. So why don't you open us up with your hot
Yeah.
take? What do you have?
I wish we have a jingle for this. Honestly, I wish.
Oh, dude, I'll have one next time. I
Next,
promise you.
work on it, man. Right? You have a life now.
I,
You should surely know someone that could do a jingle. You know.
there's a mall right behind my dorm. I'll go get a jingle for us.
Sweet, awesome. I'm looking forward to it, and then I could just slip it in. I just press play while we're in the middle of the
You
pod.
got to hold me down to that. It's happening.
Yes. You should never say I'll do it to me because I'm like, Sound, he's going to do it. I'm going to make him do it now.
Yeah, I remember I promised you that I would do well in EWT, and we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that later. But anyways, my hot take, ladies and gentlemen, this week I'm going to have a positive one. Because last time I did one, I was very negative. I decided to bring the Pokemon company down and all that kind of good stuff. If you haven't heard that one, go back and check it out because I did a load of research for that, put in my heart and soul into it. But
Can you imagine being positive on the Core Chat podcast? It's
oh
crazy.
my god, right? No negativity. What is going on? It's crazy.
This is not what you guys are here for. We need that. We need the negativity all around. But
Dude,
now, let's see what you got here.
They're waiting for us to smash that and like go at someone. Like, you know, they want us to tear something down. You know, break.
We'll go in during the draft league recaps.
Oh, we do. We always. That's when we're going.
Yeah.
But I have a vision for my hot take. I have a vision. I want to share you guys this, right? Because my hot take is, well, it's more. The title of my vision is how far can competitive Pokemon go, right? Now, yeah, no, this is kind of, you know,
this is a big topic.
But this is my vision of it, and I want to kind of share my vision with you guys and like tell and get obviously Jelly's opinion on it. Now, obviously. This is where, you know, I reveal that I have massive visions of grandeur when it comes to like these things. So like, you know, if anyone is wondering my big visions of grandeur for this podcast, you don't want to know because it's, you know, it's next to impossible. Jelly be like, Seamus, that's Irish, that's never going to happen. And I'm going to be like, yes, it can. I believe in you will achieve. But my vision for competitive Pokemon, right? I'm going to break down where competitive Pokemon is, the drawbacks to it, and where I can see it actually exploding and becoming huge, right? So right now, like, Pokemon is essentially, it's a game revolving around hacks, right? We have hacks, but it's basically a strategy game, but hacks is involved. So therefore, it's never going to become that elite, you know, competitive play that just massively and solely revolves around skill, right? It just can't happen when you have hacks, you flinch chances, burn chances, all that kind of good stuff. You're never going to get a game with these sort of, you know, tendencies in it to ever fully be, you know, an elite, you know, competitive esport, right? Just can't happen, right? No matter how big Worlds gets, and we talked a while ago about how better Worlds has gotten, even though it's had massive drawbacks that we talked about, but it has gotten better over years. But no matter how better it gets, it's never going to eclipse League of Legends, Battleship. It's Rocket League, Overwatch, you know.
Counter-Strike. Well, this used to be Counter-Strike. That game kind of fell off now.
Yeah, but like all of those like major games, you're just, you know, it's never COD. Like, it's never going to eclipse them as an esport because all those games rely solely on skill, right? There's no hacks involved, whatever, right? But Pokemon it does. So when it comes to being like a major competitive esport, we're going to always have that ceiling where we're just never going to hit. That's just the way it is. That is where our current situation is, right? The best you're going to get is you're going to have these big showdown tournaments, these draft leagues, all this kind of stuff. And, you know, eventually the cream rises to the top. You get best 2 out of 3. And, you know, you get a lot of people playing it. Like, you have thousands of people playing competitive Pokemon all over the world. So, like, big appetite for it. But, you know, this is kind of the stratosphere we're in. And that's kind of it, right? But my vision for where I think we could go, like the highest possible point I think we can go, is that you gotta kind of just embrace the hacks when it comes to how major competitive Pokemon can go, right? So the way I kind of look at it is that you gotta, if you can't, you know, advertise how competitive it is, you kind of gotta make it entertaining, right? So
yeah.
like, and that's the draw, right? So you gotta make Pokemon competitive Pokemon entertaining. You gotta make it like, you gotta make it turn into a spectacle, right? You gotta have all the bells and whistles, the flashing lights, pyro, the whole works. You gotta go crazy. You got if you're gonna go for it, you gotta go big, right? And I honestly believe, right, that the format that Steve created, which is draft format, is the ideal format for where I think Pokemon could go, right? Because you have all these big leagues, you have WBE, GBA, all of them, right? And people, people sit at home behind a computer, they do the calcs, they play the game on their console, and that is it. But I think, right, the ultimate highest level we can get, right, is that we have teams of draft league players, right? So you'd have, say, 8 teams competing in a league, and those 8 teams consisting of, say, 5 players battle out against each other for best out of 5, and you have fixtures every week, and you have a massive league, and top 4 make playoffs, and they battle each other, and then winner comes out on top as like the undisputed world champion, and you would have it streamed live on Twitch, where you would have you'd have each team battling over an hour, and like they just come out on Twitch, they set up they rig they're constantly typing away. The commentators are going back and forth between each battle. The viewer can interact on Twitch and switch between the different cameras and able to like get what's going on. The battler themselves, right? You could literally have, you could put put the two of them in different rooms and have them all kind of so that you can actually feed in a mic from each individual battle, so you can get the commentary off each individual battler and go back and forth and literally have it all done in live time. So everyone be battling each other live time, the different teams, and the viewer themselves can watch it on one massive channel on live together, and they can switch back and forth between each one. And like for me, like, can you just imagine, right? You as a viewer, right? You're sitting down, you're on Twitch, and you have like, say there's this massive matchup, right? We're going to put like the best of Europe versus the best of America. That's actually been one thing I always want. I always want to get the best of Europe versus the best of America. I think that'd be really entertaining. But you have the best of Europe and the best of America on a team. Now, I'm not saying like teams are going to be based by geography. Like teams will be based off like whoever recruits the players they want. But teams, the two of them would be, say, just those two teams, and they'd be going back and forth, and you as a viewer can select which player you want to listen to, and you have general commentary going over the whole lot, going back and forth. And then you have pre-match interviews, post-match interviews. You would have the full-on promo hype videos before and after the matches, and you just turn it into a big spectacle. And you'd have this going on like over a whole weekend. So you'd have like matches on Friday, even Saturday. Like have one match Friday, 2 matches Saturday, 2 matches Sunday, and you'd have it all over the course of like 3 or 4 weeks. And each team will obviously have their sponsors, like you would see in esports, and just generally becomes this huge spectacle. And I honestly think that is the way forward. If you want to make this, I think that's the highest height competitive Pokemon can get to. If you just turn in a big massive spectacle, turn it into like teams against each other in draft league, because that way you will see every plethora of Pokemon being used, and it'll just be, you'll be able to just click between each viewer. I think that's the best way to go. That's my kind of hot take for like the highest point Pokemon get to. What is that, by the way? Oh, hold on.
You good?
Yeah, we're good. We're
right,
good.
cool.
I don't know what was going on there. But yeah, that's my take on it.
All right, so I think I agree with a lot of what you said. I'd say the big thing obviously is you've got to make the format official. Pokemon Company's got to get on board with this. And I guess the other big aspect that would make it really successful is the team aspect, like you said, the 5v5 thing. I really think that I don't know about the whole like, they're all streamed at once. I definitely think that I like the whole rotating games thing that you mentioned. Like you have 5 or 6 games going on at once, and that's just super hype, right? That would definitely build on the momentum of this format. But I really don't see it happening. That's the issue. Like it's obviously really nice in theory, but there's like some missing factor. That's the reason the Pokemon Company is not getting on board with this, right? Because I don't know if you know, but I'm pretty sure ADrive actually went to the Pokemon Company regarding Draft League about a month back, and I don't think he got it to be an official format because he didn't know the factor. But what factors do you think could actually be changed to make this an official format?
Okay, so when it comes to like the official format, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Now, Pokemon, when they look at this being an official format, they want this to be like a competition, right? And when it comes to like worlds, they want something that everyone can get involved in, and it's easy. You pick up the game, you plug in 4 Pokemon, and you battle, right? But with this, see, the thing is, because it's a draft, format, essentially, like you would be drafting off like different pools of Pokemon. Like it's very hard for a Pokemon company to make this official as an official format of like a tournament, because how the hell are they going to get like 200 people shown to a regionals, let's say, draft from pools of Pokemon, get the team legally ready, and then legally have everybody ready to go the next day? Like it's from a perspective of playing World Championships in the current format, it won't work. And that's the reason why I was saying that's the ceiling for competitive Pokemon right now, is because in the way that VGC format is, it can't get any better. Like you can improve the casting, the presentation of it. You can improve the cost effectiveness of it to get more people to go do it. But when it comes to actually like the upper, like that stratosphere that we were talking about, where it's like Overwatch or Rocket League or something like that, like it won't hit that because of all these restrictions that we just mentioned. So like I think the big stumbling block like is, if you're talking about trying to get the Pokemon Company board, like you can, but do you have to though? Like you don't have to really, if you want to get it off and running. Like if you want to get off and running, like you could just get a group of you just get a few teams together and make them do the battles live, and try and generate interest and get interest going in that format, and then keep recycling every once in a while, and then eventually like you'll try and get a sponsor or two on board. Like Age is sponsored by G Fuel, right? Do you think like G Fuel have any kind of tie to Pokemon? They don't. They have a tie to A-Drive, the content creator. So if you build up the format, if you build up the fan base, right, then people will want to sponsor this genre, because they realize, oh wait a minute, there's 250,000 people who tune into this every single week, and I'm just throwing that figure out there. Like you might be able to get sponsors lower than that, but they're like, there's 250,000 people tuning into this format every week. Where do I sign? Where like who do I need to go to maybe get a bit of sponsorship here? And how much money do I have to spend? And you go to the negotiation table. You get one sponsor on board, then you get 2, then you get 3, then you get 4. Game continues to grow a little bit more and more and more, because like people who want to watch the best players battle, like it's always been the case, and there's such a huge appetite for competitive Pokemon. So I would say, why would you need to get the Pokemon Company on board? Like, because their line of thinking is it has to be VGC because singles takes too long in a 60-minute format if people bring stall. And we can't do draft because how do you get draft to work at a PC, regional, national, continental worlds basis? You just can't. Like it just logistically is not possible. So
yeah, like they would have to have like pools and speed drafts. I definitely understand what you're getting at there.
So like I can understand why Pokemon won't go for that, but like for me, the only reason why we haven't seen like this next side of it is because you have to look at it and really think, okay, there's huge work here to get this running. Like you have to get several people on board just as battlers to do it, and you have to get 7 people who are good commentators to do it as well. Like there's no point getting, and good battlers, like there is no point getting Johnny off the street to come down and sit here and do a Pokemon battle, because no one will watch Johnny off the street do it, because Johnny off the street has no credit, he's got no skill, like he might have not no skill, and he's just going to get whitewashed. But if you were to get like a skilled battler doing it who has a bit of a following, and all of a sudden he streams it, then next thing you know you might have 50 people watching one guy do it, and the other guy who might be slightly bigger might have 100 people, and there's one matchup on one team, and if your peak viewers are 50 and 100, peak viewership between the two of you for that battle live is 150. Replay goes up on YouTube, more people come in, and like it's just little things, and it's all about trying someone to coordinate everything. Now obviously the big problem is that trying to get some like battlers are just horrific at putting stuff up on time. So you tell somebody you have to battle at X time on Twitch, very very hard to get someone to do that. I think that's probably the initial stumbling block, and then trying to get everybody to do it for like 10 weeks in a row, very, very difficult because everyone's all on different schedules. But I would think that if you could manage to get a good cast of that doing it on different and have that kind of interchange between players and teams, I think that's the highest you can go, and just turn it into a spectacle. And get lads like, you know, trash talking. Like, get a sound clip of somebody saying this person is crap, and put that on a sound bit and like push it and all this. Like, you just gotta go for the big spectacle and try and, you know, get the word out there. We have this thing. This is a brand new format. These coaches are in there. They're trash talking. This is the promo video for tonight's match at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on twitch.tv/ you know, World Elite Championships or something like that, you know. And boom, you know, push it, you know.
Sorry, you can finish.
But like, that's the way I would look at it. I don't think you need to get the Pokemon Company on board, because obviously you're going to run into a lot of stuff, I think, that would hinder the initial growth of it. And I think it'll be most of the case. You have to get this off the ground first, get some sponsors, and then get some sponsors in, and then get the company Pokemon involved. And if the Pokemon Company want their name and all that stuff on this, you gotta tell them to put up that cash prize, because you need a prize. You gotta be able to say these coaches are in fighting to, you know, win a cash prize of X amount of money, and you get that money off your sponsors. That'll be where the initial sponsorship money will go to, because you just say, listen, we gotta give a prize to the winner. So this first 50 grand we're going to get off this sponsor is going to be the 50 grand cash prize that we're going to hand out to players on that team. So if a team of 5 wins, they get 10 grand each, like, you know, and that's, you know, and you gradually build, and then all of a sudden, boom, you have this. That's what I think. That's my dream.
So I guess the one question I have is, obviously, if you want this to take off, you have to have somebody with a following, like you said, somebody who's already established in the Pokemon community and can actually have this take off. But at some point, you definitely have to allow pretty much anyone to enter this tournament, because if it's that official, or official in quotes, because it's probably going to be bigger than the VGC itself, then you need to let any Pokemon fan enter this, right? So at one point, do you cut off the, I guess, follower amount and just, you know, only consider skill?
So I would say you kind of got to get the right mix at the start, right? Because if we just go for followers, like you're and you know, the like people with numbers, they'll eventually fall off, and you lose like a chunk of your fan base every time every one of those falls off. And you've seen it with the GBA. Like, every time there's one big name leaves from the GBA, like, they kind of take a massive hit in who watches the eyeballs on the GBA, even though they're the very first league and most well-known league. Eyeballs fall off the GBA every time they lose a big name. So you got to get the right mix first. So I wouldn't be looking at followers first. I'd be looking at who has skill and followers. So like someone like I hate naming names, but I'm just gonna name names because I don't YouTube anymore, really. But someone like K-Crate, right, who has followers but is not a big skill battler and who's not really into competitive Pokemon, I would say no to her, because I'm like, you could dip in a year's time, a year and a half time, you could dip, right? And I'd be looking at this long term. I'm like, I need someone who's going to be here for 3 years, that is going to hit everything on time. It's going to be no excuses. When I say you're battling at 8 p.m. Eastern, I don't want you coming up with an excuse and then me having to go on my computer and say, sorry, tonight's match has been delayed, but we'll get in contact with you later, and having to apologize to our viewers. I need someone who is like 100% in, and for me, she's not 100% in because she doesn't like competitive Pokemon. So I would want both. I need both mix for this to work, because the downfall, the potential pitfalls of picking someone with just followers is just too big. So I would want that. And then growing in time, as you said, you need to open this up to everybody, right? So as this grows, you create smaller leagues, and that's what always happens. You would have smaller leagues underneath the major league, and I would grow it out, and I would have you would kind of try and filter down some money into them. So like, say we had major sponsors and we were reeling in, like, I don't know, 2 million, right, in sponsorship, okay, and we're getting a load of money off Twitch. I'm going to say 2 million off sponsorship, and let's just say 3 million off Twitch between everybody, right? We just say we have 5 million as our kitty, right? I would have like 1 million as the grand cash prize. You would guarantee X million per team who are in the major league, and you'd have some more running costs, and I would put 1.5 million into like grassroots battling. That's why I call it grassroots battling. And I put it down in there, and I would kind of try and filter it down, and then over time you would maybe develop what's called like a tier 2 league and a tier 3 league and a tier 4 league, like what you would have in football, and you would have a promotion relegation playoffs. So, and therefore everyone, when people followed certain teams and they're in promotion or relegation playoffs, that's like huge, because then all of a sudden you're like, well, this team, if they don't win this game, doesn't matter if they're 0-4, they're all going down to tier 2, and the money that, say, a team in tier 2 would get would be less than the money that a tier 1 would get in just in wages. So let's say I'm going to pay a tier 1 team $100,000, right? Just for being in the league that season, $100,000, right, for playing. But tier 2 team will only get $50,000. So all of a sudden, the pressure of saying, let's say 10-week season, and you're like 2-7, and another team's 2-7, and you guys are like the final week, right? Okay, the pressure on you not to finish last because you will get relegated, and you're going to lose out on your wage is going to be cut in half while participating in this league, is so monumental that becomes a must-watch game, and therefore you have no dead rubbers, and that's how I would introduce the lower leagues, because you have it filter up, and you just create a pyramid of leagues filtering up through the system up onto the very top league, and that's the way I
agree. Yeah, I'd say the one that kind of goes back to the point where you said people aren't going to be committed. For example, K-Cray.
Mm-hmm.
It's really hard to find people who will stay just as motivated and excited to promote this format after they get relegated. You'll see this in draft leagues a lot. Mm-hmm. After people get relegated at bottom seed or bottom few seeds, they'll just leave. They won't play that league anymore.
Oh yeah, exactly, and that's probably something that you would implement in several seasons down the line, where the format has massively taken off, and you've got you have like thousands of people watching every single match, and people are just addicted to it, and it's all they talk about, and it's the big buzz, and that's when you kind of strike then. It's like, okay, who have we got to create a second tier league? And you offer them that money. And the big thing is, if someone's getting paid thousands, right? I get it, right? Okay, I know I said half, like the drop down in money is half. That was just an extreme example. I was just giving an example there. But if I'm still getting paid $50,000 dollars to just do to do 10 Pokemon battles minimum, I don't care, I'm still doing it. Even if I just got paid cut by half, I'm still doing it, I'm getting paid money, to do Pokemon battles.
I guess in that sense, the motivation is still there, right? Because they want to get back into that higher tier league after getting relegated to have the, money go up again. So,
so
I guess, as sad as it is, I guess, money is the biggest factor there.
Money is the biggest factor, but you only get money by building it all up, and to build it up, you would have to get a group of majorly dedicated coaches who are able to battle on time at a specific time that's given to them, no questions asked, because you would have to do everything in a week advance, because by every time a battle is done, you have to click that promo video and say, next time on World Elite Championships, on the WEC, watch Jelly take on Irish in a must-watch clash at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Only on,
Yeah, you gotta have, constant commitment, dedication. You cannot have any faltering there. Everybody has to be on board with this, or else it's not gonna work.
Exactly. One person slips up, the whole thing is fucked.
Yeah,
so,
easily.
I think, it's possible to do it, but it's such a huge undertaking to get everybody on the same page to do it. I don't think it'll happen. But if someone was to ask me what is the absolute ultimate maximum potential competitive Pokemon has, it's not competing as an esport, it's making it a spectacle, and that is the best way to make it a spectacle, in my opinion. And can you imagine doing a live stream draft where there's teams of because you organize the draft in such a way where there's teams, and there's certain Pokemon that might be allowed drafted let's say every Pokemon was out to be drafted 3 times, just to fill out the roster, just throwing out ideas here, right?
Yeah.
If every Pokemon was out to be drafted 3 times, can you imagine, right, having, I'd say 5 teams or 4 teams or 6 teams in the top tier league, and there's a live draft, and if they're getting paid money and they're sponsored, you could fly them into an arena, and you could have, like, as the NFL does, have the draft ongoing in a live arena, and you could have every team in, like, different war rooms trying to, like, filter down through, see what they can pick up. Can you imagine the hype around a live draft? Like, that would be nuts.
Yeah, like a literal live sports draft for Pokemon actually sounds really interesting. But obviously, the biggest factor is the sponsors regarding that. You need to get those on board.
Like that'd be something that you see like 4 or 5 seasons down the line when you get sponsors on board and you can actually afford to do all that. Like, but taking off, it'd be slow and steady things. Like,
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, that's my hot take, you guys.
I like that one. That was actually really positive, like you mentioned. Obviously it's very unlikely, but I'm curious to see if anything of that will ever form up.
If anyone right wants to do that, you gotta hit me up because I came up with the idea first, so I'm all in.
Yes, it's now Irish. You gotta hit him up. No choice.
Yeah, no choice. If someone goes off and steals that idea, right, I'm filing a lawsuit. All right, I'm going straight. I'm going straight to the courts. I'm like, I need in like now. Simple as that.
You're European. This is not America.
It doesn't matter. I'm going global, baby.
All right. Well, you want to move on from there? That was really fun. But
it was good. Before we move on, guys, if you have any thoughts on that, let us know on Twitter, Discord, or in the comment section down below. I would love to get everyone's thoughts on that. I think it's fantasy that could be reality, but it's like a 2% chance it could become reality. But I'd love to hear everyone's take on it.
It depends on where Pokemon goes. Like, if they completely ignore... I mean, obviously, you said it doesn't have to be official, but it really depends on what the Pokemon company takes the direction of the game in.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're going to be heavily reliant on the console game, right? But...
yeah.
Like, if you eventually get to Pokemon Company's cave and realize that these guys are actually making thousands of dollars here on our game, you will eventually get an ear in and be able to say, listen, we need like a game that allows us to do this fully. Yeah. And they will cave and they will make it. And because look, they got enough hate for Sword and Shield already. Can you imagine if this format was huge already and they were undercutting like hundreds of Pokemon? They wouldn't get away with it. Like, they wouldn't have happened. They would have rang up whoever was in charge of that format and they would have said, what do you guys need for the next version? And it would have been a negotiation and you would have gotten what you want. You would have gotten all Pokemon.
Oh yeah, easily. Yeah, easily. I see it.
Easily. Right. We will move on. After that. Again, guys, let us know what you guys think about that. We are going to get into the draft leagues. We have missed a load, but hopefully we will not take too long going through them. We're going to quickly start off with the reigning, defending, undisputed, Ultimate Battle League champion of the world, OPJellicent. We're going to start off with the UBL. I want to get Jelly's thoughts on how the finals went after the dust has settled, taken a few deep breaths in, you've chilled, you've had your bottle of champagne, you've hired a few whores to enjoy yourself. What was your take?
I don't think I went that far, but I would say
He did, guys. He told me. I saw the photos. Don't worry about it.
Wow. Exposing me out here. Well, it's kind of weird to talk about it so long after the game happened, because I talked about it with Vepsis literally like on call for 2 hours after the game happened itself. Mm-hmm. But I sort of did cheese the finals win because I had somebody who's a lot better than me in the format build my entire team for me. But
listen the execution, right? He was talking smack, right? Okay, like he was talking some load of garbage. He needed to be put down, right? So it's grand.
So yeah, obviously not my prep, but I think the execution was still there for sure. I really think that there was Hex involved. The Cabalion was really big. You watched the game, right?
I did.
Yes. Did you watch it on my side or Rapsis' side?
I watched on your side because you're my boy.
Let's go.
Let's
All right.
go.
Well, yeah. So the the Iron Head Flint on the Dragals was obviously huge because my Cobalion lived on literally like 2 or 3 health from that Moonblast from Diancie later.
Mm-hmm.
We did address later that my Hippowdon would have been able to come in and curse up on the Moonblast before the weakness policy pops, and then after the curse, Earthquake would be able to knock that out. The thing that would be bad about that scenario is because of the crit that happened on my Crobat on turn 2, it was in range of the Gallade Shadow Sneak. So if my Cobalion did not live right there, because of the first crit, I probably would have ended up losing the game because I couldn't revenge the Gallade. So I don't know if Vepsis agrees. We didn't really talk about this scenario as much as some of the other stuff, but if neither hex happens, I think that even if my Cobalion ends up fainting, Crobat would have been able to clutch me the game. But I'm glad I won. I'm glad I put him down. That's really all I have to say about that.
Oh, brilliant. I thought the hacks on Crobat turn 2, that was awful because Crobat was actually such a key pivot for you. Like going into the game at the start, that was going to be like one of your main pivots. So the hacks turn 2 was a major knock, and you could tell like you were keeping Crobat in the back for a while just to try and see if you can find an opportunity to use it again or have it a sack, because once that crit happened, Crobat was basically rendered useless. I thought when you popped the Z move early, that was brilliant, and Vepsis was definitely on a roll for, like, he was trying to bounce back for several turns.
Yeah, that was actually a roll. The scissor.
Go on.
The scissor could have died turn 1. It was like 91 to 108 or something like that. So had I gotten the turn 1 kill and Crobat never even took the second knockoff, that would have been even bigger.
Yeah, exactly. Like Crobat was extremely unlucky in that game, but it did what had to be done. Broke through the scissor, managed to put in the vital work that I needed to, and it was brilliant. So I think you had Vepsis like on the back foot very early on. Vepsis kind of crept into a little bit more. But then you eventually kind of position yourself back into the winning into the winning spot. I was a bit surprised with your Manaphy set. I thought you would have gone something for a little bit more offensive, because remember in the last podcast, you guys, I had said I was going to go for Jelly because I thought there was one Pokemon on Jelly's side that I thought Vepsis couldn't handle, and that was Manaphy. Because if you look at Vepsis' team, his team just does not handle Manaphy at all. Like an offensive Manaphy anyway. So I was very surprised that you didn't bring offensive Manaphy. I thought you would have brought it.
I mean, obviously, it wasn't my choice, but I really think the 50 berry saved me that game. It got me out of range of the Diancie. It got me out of range of the Greninja. And obviously, if he made the call and Dark Pulsed into my Cobalion and got the 50 berry prevented, I think he would have won the game right then and there. But I know for a fact he wanted my Cobalion gone with the Torrent boosted Scald, because it just allowed Diancie to freely win the game.
Yeah. Definitely.
The one other bad thing that could have happened was on the turn I switched in Manaphy out of Cobalion to get the berry back. If he clicked Spikes that turn and then went for Dark Pulse and knocked me out, it was a complete wrap. He had that game, but I don't think he had Spikes on the Greninja at all, so that worked out.
It was it all worked out. It all worked out. It all comes together, guys. It all comes together. But GG, the number 1 seed picks up the league title, which is what you want to see.
Fun fact, every higher seed won in playoffs, all their playoff games. I'm pretty sure the top 4 seeds won, and the top 2 seeds won, and then the first seed won.
They did indeed, and it was the first 2 seeds in the final, top 4 seeds in the semis. I do think, right, we were talking about this weeks ago, like some of the, like, I think definitely there was 1 or 2, like the set, like it was Root and Silver in 7 and 8. Like we were definitely saying how Silver was potentially very lucky to make playoffs, and definitely there was better coaches beneath, that didn't make playoffs that could have maybe caused us an upset to the higher tier, to the higher seeded teams. But very weird fact, very strange normally to see the 1 to 4 actually finish the way they did. Very, very interesting to see. But my boy, as I said, Jelly was going to win, and that's exactly what happened. Jelly won. Boom.
Ideally, if anybody's coming up to Worlds, by the way, next year, you can meet up with the UBL folks. We'll be there.
We'll be there. So,
and I will have 2 more UBL championships by then. Don't worry.
I love it. Easy. So that's the roundup of the UBL, you guys. If you haven't watched the final, if you go do so. Close game. It was a really good game, to be fair. It was really back and forth. Didn't really know who's going to win after Vepsis kind of clawed his way back into the matchup, but thankfully my boy did the deed and got picked up the W, and that's all that matters to
He was
me.
he was talking so much shit. I'm glad I pulled that out.
He wasn't baited at all there. Like, no one ever baited Bepsis into saying any of that.
Okay, first of all, did you really think Mox with Skyranger was going to help him against Zazo Prep? That's not happening.
No. Oh my god. Oh my god. Jeez, you leave the poor man alone. He's lost. Jelly, he's lost. Alright, okay? No need to kick him out when he's down.
I don't feel bad.
Oh. Oh god, right, okay, before we get out of hand, because we do love Bepsis, before we get out of hand and actually ruin him and, you know, have him call us out, we'll move on. And we don't know.
Bepsis is our boy. Let's stop talking about that now.
Bepsis is our boy, but he just needs to be put in a spot there at that point. We're going to actually go on to more relevant matches now. And we'll first talk about the BBL.
Yeah, these next two leagues we can just kind of breeze through. I think there's only a couple games that are relevant at all. So.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest, guys. I just did a major kind of bulk watch of a lot of stuff. So some things might be a bit foggy to me, and I didn't get to watch everything I wanted to watch. But I did manage to catch Kelly versus Leo, and I was watching it on Kelly's side. Kelly, aka being under the radar. If you haven't checked him out, definitely go do so. Do you want to take it away? Because you watched it as well, didn't you?
I did, but I also watched like 5 other matches, so it's kind of foggy. I'm actually going to pull up the match right now. I remember it was very close. I think the winner won 2-0, right? From what I remember.
Yeah, so Kelly ended up beating Leo. Kelly kind of started off with his Gliscor, and Leo started with Registeel. And Kelly just I kind of felt that Leo just, from the start, like the score was close, but from my perspective, Kelly always had Leo, was always just slightly ahead of Leo, because from the start, he managed to get major damage on the Registeel. I don't know why Leo stayed in with Registeel. I suppose he was hoping Kelly might overpredict or something, but Kelly got big damage with Registeel, which opened up massive doors for the rest of his team, and then that pushed. That meant Kelly was able to kind of eventually get into the position where his Mega Mewtwo X was able to pick up the W after getting constant chip throughout the whole game, because Kelly was in the winning position.
Yeah, and that Mega Mewtwo X living on 3 health from that Garchomp Z move was really big as well. I'm pretty sure if that Garchomp was around, then Chatot plus Garchomp had the game.
Yep, definitely. But the fact that, the fact that he was relying on it like a Chatot, you know.
Chatot's strong. Do you know what Specs Boom Burst can do? That thing is insane.
Listen, he ain't doing any, boom bursting in my house anyways, alright? You can stay away from my...
I don't think he plans on doing that.
Yeah, Paris don't do well in Ireland, so I'm safe,
Yeah, but that's the only game I managed to catch. It was a really good one, though. You guys should check that one out, too.
Yeah, no, it was really, really good. I don't know if we should bring it now. Actually, we'll bring it up now because it'd be nice... Actually, no, well, I was supposed to say it'd be nice segue into WBE, but we'll talk about WBE later. But we might as well bring it up now because we're going to be talking about other coaches in WBE. But I said before I went, I made I'm going to say bold prediction. I didn't think it was that bold because I just had faith in Leo, but I said it before we left. I actually had faith that Leo was going to have a deep run into WBE, and he was going to bounce back into BBL, and he was going to start performing better. Whereas Jelly was like, GG is game over for Leo. The man's fallen off a cliff. He's nowhere near the caliber player he was a few months ago.
Yeah.
And
even a few months ago, he was washed. It's really like a year ago that he was really good.
Yeah, well, essentially, I was wrong and Jay was right. So I gotta put my hands up.
Well, actually, it's not over yet. He's still 4-3 in the BBL now. I don't know if you caught up on his record, but he's still positive. He's still there. But obviously, spoilers ahead, the WBE run did end.
Yeah, so I had made a prediction that he would catch someone in the WBE and he will progress through playoffs and have a deep enough run into it and he'd be back to his best. Because I honestly did feel that in the GBA, he was putting everything into the GBA. And that's the reason why we were seeing him lack everywhere else. And then as time has gone on, he's continued to not really perform to his highest ability. I think that's the reason why we're mainly criticizing him, is because he has played at such a high level, but now it seems he hasn't been able to rekindle the form he once was in. So
yeah,
I gotta admit, I was wrong, guys, believe it or not. I was
Ooh,
right.
Irish admitting something? That's insane. That never happens.
I know. I have to put my hand up and say I was wrong, and Leo hasn't been the same.
I mean, he is doing well in EWT right now, so there is that.
Well, look, we'll get onto that now. We'll get onto that league now in a moment. All right,
All right.
you don't worry. You just brace yourself.
I got you.
But is there anything else in the BBL? Because I only managed to catch that, sadly.
I only managed to catch that as well. I just caught up on the records of a few coaches, but that was it.
Okay. Who's the top number 1 seed in BBL right now?
I want to say it was Panther. I think it might have been Panther. Carolina Fables, maybe.
Yes.
It's either him or Clutch sometimes, coach of the Kansas City Kingdras. One of those two.
Okay. All right. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. Last I saw, Clutch was like 5-1, so I'm pretty sure it's him.
I
but...
know. Yeah, 5-1. No, he's doing solid. He's doing solid if you're 5-1. Okay, interesting. I was kind of because I haven't watched any of Panthers games, so I was kind of like, I was totally in the dark as to how well he's getting on. But 5-1 is very, very good.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll slide over to his channel and check out his next his next battle. That's what I may do. Right. I believe that's it for the BBL, right?
I think so. Yeah. Do you want to move on to Eon World Trophy?
We will move on to the Eon World Trophy that I continuously forget is the Eon World Trophy, and I.
Having an Eon World Tournament.
Yeah, so we're going to move on. Now, guys, before I left on holidays, I told Jelly he has to win the Eon World Trophy. Like, no discussion. Has to be done. I did this off camera, so there's no evidence except on Discord. But I told him straight up he has to win this, right? It's on our YouTube channel. People are going to be watching. You're representing not just yourself, but myself.
We're talking about
Mike,
it. I didn't think we were actually going to talk about it. Why are we talking about it?
I was telling him, you're representing all of us now, man. All right, okay. You got to go.
Hey, I already got us a cup. Where's your cup for the?
Hold on. I put a tweet out asking, listen, any Wi-Fi upload leagues looking for a coach, hit me up. No one wants me.
I actually saw that.
No one wants me.
I don't think nobody wants you. It's just the fact that nobody is open. Like, there's no other league starting.
Well, listen, no one wants me, right? So you want to talk about cups, okay? Why am I supposed to get a cup if no one wants me? All right? Think
fair
about
enough.
that.
Okay, fair
Think
enough.
about that.
Yes, I see how it is.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to go back to you, right? You don't come in at me. We're going to go back to you. Right?
We're back here now. Okay.
Right? 1-3, -6. This is not good enough. All right? What do you call this record?
We call this mediocrity, but
hold on. Sorry, what? Mediocrity.
Okay, we call this trash. Is that better?
Thank you.
But
let's get the facts out of the way.
If you look below, there is an 0-4 coach, and that clearly redeems my record. That's how that works.
Yeah. What I'm looking at here is that you lost 0-2 to the Slovenia Slow Bros, who in the UBL
Okay, that was I got hacked there.
Hold on, we're blaming hacks all of a sudden.
That was I literally had the game if it wasn't for a full para.
Okay, all right, okay. Now I covered a lot now of of the Slow Bros when I used to do the UBL D League power rankings, so I know the coach, like, and I have to say, Jelly, I thought you could have won that one, but if you're blaming hacks, you're blaming hacks.
I mean, I've beat him before. I battled him in IBL and I beat him, but he asked me here. I can't do anything about that.
Then you bit frosted. What I know. I'm like, okay, that's good.
Okay, that was a victory I was actually happy with because I want you to know I built that team in 10 minutes after UBL finals and it actually won me the games.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, proud of you. You bounced back. You did good. Brilliant. But then you lost 1-0 to Leo, who you've been on record saying is washed up. Now
I have been saying he's washed up.
Now, do you want to explain to me how you lost to a coach who's washed up?
Okay. I think it's clearly obvious he's washed up because he forgot that Zam traced Levitate from Flagon, which, by the way, check out that video. That was funny as hell. Like, that was such a good video. But I'd say the biggest reason I lost that was just one misprep with my guard jump. I brought Dragonium instead of Groundium. If I was Groundium, Flagon had that game, which is super sad. But I don't really have anything. There are no excuses to losing. It's just an L. I don't know what else to say.
And then you lost 0-4 to the Nightshaders.
Okay, that game I memed. I played that during class, and I
had
brought
Hold on. You memed after us.
I did meme a game because.
Oh my god! Who am I?
Okay, I'm gonna take it seriously from here, but I literally had to meme that game because it was already late, and I didn't want to think about the game after class because it was like I had class for 10 hours. I have excuses. Just buy them and we'll be good here.
Is there a good deal on these excuses? It's like 2 for 1, isn't
Um, Ooh, no, yeah, 2 for 1. You take one excuse, I'll give you 2 more. There you go. That's
right.
clearly what 2 for 1.
So, our boy Jelly's 1 and 3, and obviously, as you can tell, we're majorly disappointed. Now,
no. Look at the rest of my schedule. I'm not losing to any of these unplayers. What?
Whoa, hold on. Veps is a non-player. You got him last.
I will beat Vepsis in week 8. It's happening.
All right. Okay.
I will do it without the Zazo prep this time, just to prove a point.
You got Otto as well. You know, you got a. It's much gods.
All right. Yeah, I beat Otto last time.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it in your capable hands, Maestro.
All right. And if you see 1 and 4 or 1 and 5 next time, we're just not going to talk about this league, and we'll talk about other stuff. Okay.
We will talk about how you are not in the playoff positions, and how we're going to have a segment as to how can Jelly come back, and we'll have a full dissection of your play throughout the whole
dissection. We're going to dissect my play style now.
Yeah,
okay,
throughout the whole EWT, and how you went from winning the UBL to floundering, in the EWT.
Well, I'm sorry that Trick Room Belly Drum Slowbro could not win me the game.
Yeah, well, it's not good enough. Simple as. It's fact.
It will be good. Hit me up in 4 weeks when I'm 5 and 3.
I will. Don't worry. I would. I'll look into you. All right. When you're 5 and 3, I'm gonna my boy came through. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna my boy came through. Calling it right now. 5 and 3. He's gonna win out. You're gonna win out from here on out.
And then I'm gonna beat Vepsis in week 8 and round 1. It's happening.
Yeah, easy. 5 and 3 would actually make playoffs as well at the moment.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure 4 and 4 could also make playoffs depending on how seeding works.
Yeah, but we're winners around here, so win your record, please. Win a record.
If I'm losing, it's gonna be to not Vepsis.
Speaking of Eon World Trophy, we were at the, when it onset at the start of the league, we were talking about who might make playoffs, and you didn't think Otto would make playoffs, but I said I believe Otto would get one of the lower seeds in the playoffs. But Otto is currently 3-1 plus 10 diff. He's he's the number 1 seed. Clearly performing above expectations.
I need you to do something. Click on his logo and then see the 3 coaches he's beaten, and then say that again. Is he really winning out now?
Well, first of all, I'm not the one throwing shade here. You are, all right, okay. But yeah,
I'm throwing shade at a lot of people. I'm calling all 3 people who he's beaten bad.
But okay, alright. So he's beaten the Reggies, the Frokies, and the Sandstorm, all of whom are not in the playoff positions right now. But he has lost to Frosted. He lost to Frosted 3-0.
Wow, he lost to the one coach who actually knows what she's doing. That's crazy.
Oh my god. Right, I can tell you're a little bit salty now. You're just a touch salty about this.
I gotta throw out shade because you just threw shade at me. How could I not do that to other people?
Well, I'm just putting you in your place. Like, you told me you were going to win.
I tried to throw the shade back at you by saying, "Where's your cup?" But you turned that down. So now I just gotta target other people.
Next time you're going to throw shade at me, make it legitimate, all right? And then I might have to take it on board.
All right, I got you. I'll just call you straight up bad next time. I got you.
I'm looking forward to his week 5 matchup against the Slow Bros though, because when we were doing the PRs, there were several times we criticized Marlot in our PR videos, and I would like to see how that match will go. I think Marlot will have the beating of Otto because he'll put more into prep than Otto, and I think that'll be a big match. I'll talk majorly into prep when we talk about WBE, because something really impressed me in the playoffs. But I think Marlot will put more in prep than Otto, and Marlot will squeak the W because he'll be 100% focused on this game.
Yeah, and I may or may not already know the result of that one, so I'm just not going to talk about it.
We're going to keep it quiet.
Yes.
Is there any other coach worth taking a look at? I think maybe like the Nightshaders, they bet FFs this week 1. John Jr.
Yeah, they beat the best coach week 4.
Listen, stop trying to build yourself up now, right? Okay, you're doing bad. Just admit it, you're doing bad. But he's doing very, very well. So was Vepsis. Very impressive overall now, to be honest. Leo kind of came in after after week 2, so he's only been around for 2 weeks.
Kelly lost the first week, but he's won every game since he joined.
Okay, so Leo's been flexing in front of you after you saying he's washed up. That's very entertaining for me.
I imagine it is.
Yeah, it is. And
all right, let's just remember Leo joined the UBL, went 2-3, and then dropped. Just keep that in mind.
I think we should move on, right? Before you just decide to go in on every single coach in the EWT, all right? Before you actually decide to pick apart every one of them, let's move on, all right? Okay, that's the way. That's the current landscape is, guys. Our boy OP Jelly is kind of underperforming. Leo is actually doing what I've always said he will do, and Otto is overperforming in our preseason predictions. But there's question marks by my co-host as to the strength of
these question
schedule.
Marks shall be seen through. These standings will not look the same in week 8.
I'm looking forward to seeing how it's all going to pan out. I think it should be good. Yeah. I'm expecting Jelly to bounce back, Otto to dip a little. I think Vepsis will get number 1 seed, or either 1 or 2 seed with John Jr. And Leo, I think, would be thereabouts in the 4th or 5th seed.
I could see it.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to happen.
I'm not going to predict right now. I'm just going to wait until I play and then predict.
Oh, yeah, because that's how predictions work.
Yeah, so you predict after you know the result.
Yeah, Mystic Mac over here. All right.
I clearly don't know what happened already, but we should probably move on.
We will move on, and we're going to get into the more serious side of the house now. We're going to be talking about the WBE. This has been a bit of a roller coaster in playoffs, guys.
More than a bit.
Yeah, more than a bit. I think maybe the best way of analysing playoffs would be we're going to look at the semi-finalists. Now, unfortunately, as we're recording this, Gator and MV, spoilers, have not played yet. So we can't actually talk about that game and therefore preview the finals. But when we do a bit of a preview, we're going to talk about, the winner of the other semi-final versus either MV or Gator. That's how we're going to do it. But I think the best way is maybe filter down from top to bottom on each in each division and talk about how each semi-finalist got to the semi-final, and I think that might be the best way to efficiently cover every single match as much as possible.
That sounds good. Yeah. So do you want to start off with MV and Gator or the other match?
Let's start off with the Sword division.
Sword division. So that's Wolf and Vivid, I want to say.
Wolf and Vivid. Yeah. I think we will just get the controversial one out of the way. Right.
Vivid.
All right. Now, Vivid's path to the playoffs was that he bet John, aka Pokémon, 0-3, and then he 5-0'd Leo, and that was the big shock.
You mean Joey?
Oh, sorry, Joey. Sorry, my bad. He 5-0'd Joey. Leo, I just love you, man. But he 5-0'd Joey, and then he's up against Wolfie. We'll talk about the semi-final matchup that they had in a moment.
Yeah.
I didn't get to see Vivid versus John because for me there was just so many matches to watch and I just couldn't catch it. Did you catch it?
I didn't catch that one. It was nothing special. It was just John got outplayed. He just gave Vivid a lot of momentum throughout the game. I'm pretty sure, I don't remember what particular amount it was, but I think it was Nidoking that came to that game and did a lot of work. But yeah, John just gave it way too much momentum is the main issue.
Yeah, and I've been on the record on this podcast saying I think John has lost it battle-wise.
I mean, he finished with a really high seed. I think he was 3rd or 4th seed in his division, but he did not come through in playoffs at all.
Yeah, he was 4th seed in his division, 10-3. Like, he did... look, if I'm not going to lie, if you look at the Sword division, it's... Like, we were over this before. The big thing WBE needs to improve on is just the quality of the coaches. As because there's so many, poor coaches. So, I think 10-3 could potentially be flattering. He could have easily been 7-6 like Vivid, and Vivid had a higher diff than John. So take your pick. A lot of John's games were very close. And I've been on the record saying John has become more of a shiny hunter than a Pokemon battler now. That's just where he's taken his Pokemon career, and that's just it, and all the more to him. But as a battler, he's way off the boil. But right. Joey versus Vivid.
This is the game that people probably are interested in.
The hacks was nuts. just
Okay.
bonkers.
I'm gonna say this. I don't think any of the hacks mattered. I think Mew came in after and won the game anyway.
Really?
If that Toxapex doesn't get crit, Mew still comes in and kills every Pokemon with Expert Belt. I don't see what the issue is.
Do you not think Pex would be able to live one?
No, it dies to Psyshock or Psychic, whatever he had. I think it was Psyshock for Volcarona. And then Glade gets 2-hit killed by Shadow Ball. I'm pretty sure Gothitelle was already in range of Shadow Ball after the Nidoking damage, and then we already saw Volcarona died. I don't think there's any way that Joey had that game.
So you okay? All right, okay. So you reckon Vivid was not lucky at all?
I reckon he was lucky, but I reckon like the luck is just an excuse to make it seem like he hacked his opponent. I don't think it actually mattered. Had he not gotten the luck, he would have won that game anyway.
So, but he no okay okay hold on. I'm just trying to I'm trying to process all this. It's been a while since I watched this match.
Yeah.
So Joey had hacks against him throughout the whole game, like early game and late game. So do you think the early game hacks that Joey had no bearing on the game at all?
It depends. What happened early game again? Particularly, I remember the Hurricane crits, but
I think it was like there was definitely a lot of Hurricane crits. Let me see.
Yeah, he'd forced him to sack off his Bronzong. I think that was the main thing, right?
Yeah, and Bronzong.
Yeah, but I think
Bronzong would have came in on Mew, which was a big thing.
Yeah, I'd say the big thing was Vivid did the correct play in going for Stealth Rocks instead of trying to attack the Volcarona with the Rock move, because he was able to just get the Volcarona in range of the Psyshock, which he did see as the more important thing. Also, why did one play that was so confusing was why did Joey sack his Defogger as webs went up and then let rocks go up immediately after?
Yeah, that was the one thing I took note of because I wrote some notes, but not as much as I usually do for the podcast. But oh, here I go. Oh no, sorry, where is it again? Boom. Yeah, the hacks on Pex was nasty. That's what I have. But the sacking of Comfy, as you said, his only defogger was crazy, and I thought that Vivid did a great job of getting webs up early. And and also keeping them up.
Yeah, with the non-sash Galvantula too, it was like the Life Orb, I think, or Expert Belt, something like that.
Brave normally, to do it. But it was very.
Yeah, I would like to point out, by the way, Joey got help from Iron Flash Gaming, who happened to help somebody else in a playoff game recently, and that other person won, but Joey could not come through.
So you're saying you're better than Joey?
No, but I'm saying that with Zazo's prep, I'm better than Joey.
If you both have the same prep, you're better.
If you have Gypsy King and Iron Flash Gaming prep for you, how are you losing to a random in playoffs like that? How does that make sense?
Do you? But what's called? I would have thought that Vivid was probably like had his record doesn't reflect his ability. I don't think.
I don't know. I feel like he was really inconsistent throughout the season. I feel like he won big against all the bad players, but he only beat a couple players who actually knew what they were doing.
Well, yeah, but at the same time, though, like every time he was up against a big player who was close.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, against was it Dan? I think
Dan. He was very unlucky. Very unlucky to like that was a very close game. It was only Dan's time that came in and did the work. I have to agree. Like the Comfy, sacking Comfy, who is the defogger, that was madness. I think the hacks on Pex was nasty. Like Pex gets critted a lot, and
yeah, but I think if you put the two Pokemon like the rosters side by side there's no way that Mew plus Tapu Bulu doesn't win the game from that position.
Give me a moment to put it up side by side. I do think though, because I think my point is that because Pex gets critted, right? Hacks. The reason why I think many people I see a point. The hacks on Pex late game, like it still meant Mew could come in. Mew could still come in, get kills, wins the game from there. I get that point, but because the hacks early game on Pex forced Joey to switch Pex out because he needed Pex to be his pivot, that meant that Joey was getting unnecessary chip damage constantly on his team, and therefore forced Joey into bad positions that meant that he wasn't able to that was what's called even with a player who his skill wasn't able to get out of. And I think that's where people are saying hacks had a big effect because it had a big effect on Joy's ability to be able to position himself into a winning position because of the crits. That's what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah. Also, there was one point, the one fault I think Vivid made in this game that was horrible in prep. I don't know why he did this. Why do you have webs, but then you have a modest Nidoking that doesn't outspeed Gothitelle? Like, that makes no sense. And then he gets to O-code by Psychic.
Well, like, you know, apparently Iron Flash Gaming did the prep. Like, you tell me, you're his buddy.
Hey, we can blame Gypsy King for that one. Don't worry.
Oh, nice cover. I give you that. You did well there. I give you that. That was nice cover. That was nice cover. But yeah, I think the big thing to take away from the game is like the outrage that Vivid got was nuts. It was bonkers. I felt bad for him. I think, but like, it's a huge mistake. I think people definitely look over the fact that sacking Comfy when webs are up, like it wasn't as if webs did not go up. Webs had gone up. The fact that he sacked Comfy when webs had gone up was ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that shouldn't have happened, right? So I think that's a big problem. So that was kind of Vivid's journey to the semifinals. If we take a look at Wolfie's journey, I didn't manage to take.
He had kind of a cakewalk.
Yeah, he had a kind of cakewalk. 4-0 win against the Pichus, and then
5-0 win against the Kings.
Yeah, so like, in retrospect, he had way less drama. Yeah, he had Patters, what's called, and Nexus. Like,
he just blew both of them away. Yeah.
Yeah, like that was just the way it was. So it was kind of relatively, foregone conclusion. He had a very clear path to getting to where he wanted to be. Whereas I think Joey actually had a harder path, having to go through Vivid. Even though, skill wise, he probably should have, but very, very difficult for him. So it wasn't the easiest for him. Was there anyone else in that? I don't think there was any other playoff match of note to talk about in that conference. So I think we might as well just talk about the semi-final itself. Do you want to take it first? The semi-final. What do you think of it?
Sure. Should I just start off with the result, or do you want me to sort of give my thoughts? Because there was a lot of hacks in that game.
I'd say result, then thoughts.
All right. So for those of you who don't know, Wolfie won 2-0, despite like ridiculous amounts of crits. It was really dumb. But I would say the throat chop Gigalith tech was really cool. I love that. But I also liked what was it? Was it the Excadrill with Drill Run for the grassy terrain? Yeah,
yes.
that was a really smart bring. And Vivid didn't even realize it. That's something that I've noticed. He did not know what that tech was for, and that just shows inexperience. Yeah. But yeah, the double ground moves is really smart because he recognized I don't need any other coverage. Let's just run double ground. Yeah. And then I think he had Iron Head and Rapid Spin as his other two slots.
Yeah.
That Sandcore is really what won him the game, despite all the ridiculous hacks. I was really proud to see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like the hacks that Vivid had was ridiculous. Like, unfortunately, had Vivid beaten Wolfie and I ended up winning the whole thing, like, no one would have given him enough credit. But yeah, the hacks, like the crits being landed on Wolfie's team was just bonkers. Like, it was like every time a hurricane seemed to land, it was a crit. It was ridiculous. I agree. Throw chop check on Gigalith was nice. Drill run tech on extra was really, really good. If anyone out there who's doing draft leagues, if you're getting a ground type and you've got Tapu Bulu, get a mon that has either Stomp and Tantrum or Drill Run because they're not nerfed by the terrain.
Yeah, Garchomp, Excadrill, any of them. Yeah, they'll all work.
All of them, right? Okay.
Or get a special ground type, one with Earth Power. There you go.
Yeah. Just literally try and avoid, getting a Pokemon that's so stab ground moves aren't great because it just won't work out for you. The one I want to kind of mention, like Wolfie won. Wolfie was the better battler, I thought, because he was constantly, trying to put himself in a position to win.
Despite getting unlucky over and over again.
Over and over again. There was a couple of points I actually was blown away about how good Wolfie was in that matchup, and I want to kind of like bring up a couple of points as to how good he was. One thing was his prep was outstanding, right? And I'll talk about prep again later with Gator at one point. But Wolfie's prep in that matchup was pinpoint. It was brilliant because he knew that Excadrill can win him the game under the sand. and he knew what chip he had to get on every single Pokemon on Vivid's team. So he was scouting sets, and once he knew a certain set, or he assumed a certain set, like, you can basically tell off a bit of damage. Okay, this thing's really physically bulky. Worst case scenario, if something's physically bulky, it's 252 Fizz Def. What chip do I need to guarantee me to OHKO this thing with EQ? And he calced it, and he had it all mapped out, and he knew the percentages, and he knew a lot of them before he even went into the battle. So that just showed how prepared he was. He knew certain things he needed to get chip on for Excadrill to win. And then when he realized he wasn't allowed to get a chip on Poliwhirl, I give credits to Vivid. Vivid realized Excadrill is a problem. I need to keep my Poliwhirl healthy, and that's exactly what I did. And he did a really good job at it by bringing it on terrain, protecting, getting the double leftovers boost, the whole lot. He did very, very good there. But once Wolfie had realized Vivid is onto my win con here, he's protecting his check to my win con. I need to find another way to break this check here, or I need to come up with another win con. And he came up with another win con. He came up with another way to maneuver around, because he kept all his Pokemon in the back, and he brought in Weezing. Weezing managed to do a little bit of work, and it was enough of work for him to be able to exploit, and for Wolfie to pick up the win. So I was very impressed with A, how Wolfie prepped, and B, how I was really impressed with his in-game management from start to finish, and he was deserving of his final spot, in my opinion. Blew me away how good he was.
Yeah, I hope he three-peats. That would actually be so great.
That'd be cool.
I mean, only time will tell. Yeah,
that'd be cool. That would be really, really cool. But it definitely showed it definitely showed the level that Wolfie's at. He operates at an extreme level, and I don't think he gets enough credit as a draft league battler for the level he operates at, because he operates at a really, really high level. So I was blown away by how good he was. Blown away.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you have anything else to talk about, either the semi-finals or any other playoff clash that you were watching on the Sword division?
Not particularly. I think the other notable ones were, I think Dan just got toxic stalled by Patters, and then what's the other game? There was Joey versus Vivid, and then Patters versus Wolf. Yeah, okay, so never mind, that's it.
Yeah, I was like, Dan gets stalled. I'm not even going to get into how he got stalled. It's just madness. It's just a yikes. You just don't see it, because you think with Dan's front office they would have prepared for that eventuality. But anyways,
yeah,
we're going to move on to the Shield division, and I think we'll do as what we did before. We're going to start off. We're going to look at each semi-finalist, and we're going to go down from there. Look at their path to the semi-final. Review all the major talking points, and we will then talk about any match of note, and then we might preview the finals. So, MV, coach of the Chargers, got the number 1 seed in the Shield division. So he didn't have to do 2 playoff matches. He only had to do 1 playoff match, and that was against Leo, which
it was a game. It shouldn't have been as close as it was.
It shouldn't have been as close as it was. This is probably one of those points where Jay's like, I've been saying it for ages. Leo's washed up, but I thought
no, I'm not going to rub that in again. We already went over that.
Yeah, we've been over that. I thought MV was so unlucky not to get the 6-0. It was crazy. I thought Leo,
if that one T-Wave hits, then the game is a complete wrap right there.
Complete loss. I'll give a quick recap for you guys listening if you haven't watched it, or it's been a while since you watched it. MV came in, and he just knew that. He just said, even before the game, Leo's team outspeeds mine. Like, all the key Pokemon that he has outspeed mine. So for me to slow him down, I run T-Wave on absolutely nearly everything, and any chance to get, I'm clicking T-Wave and I'm slowing his team down. And that's exactly what MV did. Every chance he got, T-Wave, and he just got massive speed control on Leo's team, because MV's team is slower, but they hit harder. So they're slower, but they hit harder. So MV managed to paralyze every one of Leo's team, or most of Leo's team, and MV was in control from turn 1 up until Leo was on Mega Lopunny, and it was Leo's last one made him on, and MV misses the T-Wave, and Leo kind of pushes back and starts picking off Pokemon one by one by Mega Lopunny until MV repositions himself again and eventually finishes off Leo. What did you take? Have you got any takeaways from this game, Jetty?
Don't miss T-Wave.
As simple as that. You're not going to give any other props to Envy or anything like that.
Not really. I mean, he had the beatdown secured, and then he just had to, play his sacks correctly, which he did, and then he just had to hope he didn't get crit, and that was all there is to it.
That was it. That was it. I thought it was very impressive how like a lot of coaches you would see when they get into that position, and they miss T-Wave or something clinical like that.
They'll panic and they'll start making really like aggressive, unnecessary plays.
And they tilt and then they lose 1-0. Yeah. Whereas Envy was like, I missed T-Wave. Okay,
I still have enough sacks to win this. Let's go for it.
And he still had Victini healthy enough in the back to be able to make sure that, because he positioned Victini to still be healthy enough to take a hit off Lopunny and then
Mega Lopunny.
And it was just a matter of positioning Lopunny in to the point where Victini was guaranteed to ult. So
that's one point of prep that I really, sorry not to cut you off, but I love the fact that he brought the 50 berry Victini to have it as a defensive response to Mega Lopunny, but also be able to offensively pressure Leo. You can switch it, take 2 returns no matter what. It always pops that 50 berry, and you guarantee good positioning.
Yeah,
that was a really smart prep.
Yeah, no, that was brilliant prep. Brilliant prep. All right, I've kind of used a similar Victini set before, trying to check Mega Lopunny. It works, like bulky Victini is a thing.
Because it already hits hard. Like
V crit already hits hard, but sometimes you need a bulky Victini, and that's exactly what Envy had there. So it was really, really good. And it was really impressive how Envy didn't freak when the hacks went against them. I think that's definitely a point if you're kind of trying to get better at the game and you've noticed you do that. You gotta just stay calm. You gotta make sure that you always have answers, because anything can happen at any given point. And that was Envy's only playoff game. And then he was into the semi-finals. And then Gator had a bit more of a tougher trek. He had to go against Uzi, and he had to go against Kelly. Now, starters, I thought it was class to see Uzi actually make playoffs, which was brilliant, absolutely fantastic. Because he started off so low and then he got up so high and made playoffs, because he literally had no wins when he joined the WBE as a replacement coach. So I was dead proud of him to actually have done the things he did. I thought he'd give Gator a serious game, but Gator's prep. I did give a quick rehash for you guys. Gator won 2-0, and Gator, even at the top of his video, he says Uzi's offense comes in, revenge kills me every single time. I ain't got an answer for it, but I got ways to abuse his team, and he built his whole team around abusing Among Us.
Exactly. The Curtis Mega Kangaskhan was a really smart ring. That was brilliant.
That was really, really good. It was cool to see how he saw a way, despite a bad matchup, to just exploit it. He's like, okay, everything that's going to happen is going to happen because this Pokemon's guaranteed to come. How do I exploit this? And he exploited it. It was fantastic. Now Uzi still did crazy stuff. Go on, man.
Uzi didn't even change his team up from the first time. I actually helped Uzi mock for this game using Gator's team, and he did not change a lot. I actually did bring a Bandit Kangaskhan to that mock, but that curse set just went in because I think it had like Sleep Talk or something that allowed it to abuse Among Us. I completely forget, but like +1 double edge just decimated Uzi's team along with Drain Punch.
Yeah. Oh no, it was crazy. It was absolutely crazy, and I was just it was a great piece of prep. And I love prep, guys. I love prep. I think prep wins games. It literally does. And I thought it was a great piece of prep for Gator to realize I gotta exploit a certain Pokemon here to get offensive momentum to force Uzi into bad situations. And he didn't have just one answer. He had like 4 mons to abuse Among Us, and that's what they did. And he picked up the W. I thought Uzi had a great showing though. I thought he did really well.
Uzi had a great showing.
Yeah.
Obviously, there was a vital Stone Edge miss, but when you're trying to hit so many Stone Edges to win the game, eventually you're gonna fall short.
Yeah, look, you can't fall that. Like if you're trying to land, over 5 Stone Edges.
Yeah, he already hit like 3 or 4 before that. The one miss on Kangaskhan was big, obviously, but you can't expect to hit that many.
Yeah, exactly. Like your luck eventually runs out, so it was bound to happen. So Gator managed to squeak through a 2-0 win against Uzi, and then Gator had to go up against Kelly. I don't really recall this game. Did you get to watch it, man?
I actually did get to watch this one. I think Gator won 3-0 using the was it? There was a late game superior that was the biggest threat, I believe, if I'm thinking of the correct game. One moment. It's a Gator on YouTube. Because I just remember Gator had the positioning like 10 turns in. He already knew what was up. He was going to win the game, but let's see exactly what went down. Yeah, this was it. The Kelly had the late game Darmanitan, but Gator just got up really nice hazards with, I think, Heatran mid game, and then he was able to burn the Zygarde with the Heatran's Will-O-Wisp, and from that point, it was just a matter of maneuvering around the Archeops and the Keldeo, and he was able to come out on top.
Yeah. Oh, because, Choice Scarf Archeops. No, I don't remember. Yeah.
It's a really strong brain, because I think he had HP Ice just to hit the Zygarde, and then, like, the Rock and Ground coverage does so well against everything else.
Yeah, no, I'm only just trying to look at it quickly here now. Yeah, worked out well for him. Worked out well. Yeah. So that's so that was like Gator's road to the final. Is there was any other playoff game that was kind of interesting that stood out? Not really.
Not particularly on that side. What else went down on that side? I think.
Leo
Who did Kelly beat round 1 again?
Kelly bet the Sin City Scissors.
Oh yeah, I didn't even catch that game, but I don't think there was much special there.
And Leo 6-0 the Cup Choose, but coached by Elliot. So so that happened. All right, because we don't know the result of the semis, I'm going to ask Jelly, who do you think is going to win between the Chim Chargers and the Gators? Envy or Gator?
I'm going to say the Chim Chargers, and the reason being, I know for a fact Gator is 3-0 against MV all time. He's never lost. He beat him twice in APA, I think, and then once in GBA, from what I remember. But I think MV really wants this win just because Gator is his kryptonite, and I think this would be his last chance this generation to take down Gator.
Yeah.
And also, I think he really wants the Wolf versus MV finals, so I see MV just going all out and taking down Gator.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
What about you?
I don't know. I like Gator's team on paper more than MV's.
I think Gator has a matchup on paper too. Yeah.
You know, I just prefer it, and because of that, I'm going to go with Gator. But MV's so good, you never know. But I just think Gator's team as a whole, as a unit, is just better than MV's. Like Gator's got multiple threats, whereas MV has a couple, but it's not. He hasn't got the same level of threat that Gator's team has. So I think Gator, with the matchup on paper, is going to be Envy, but it's going to be a close one. It's going to be really, really good to watch.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Hopefully it's a close one. Like Leo versus Envy was really close. I could see another close match here.
Yeah, it could be another really close one.
Ideally, Envy's luck is there. But...
hopefully. And that would leave Wolfie in the finals versus either Envy or Gator. You reckon it'll be Gator or Envy? Do you think Wolfie beats Envy then?
I think that MV is going to beat Wolf, and I'm sort of going off their past matches. Every time MV battles Wolf, he gets ridiculous luck in his favor. The first time they battled, I think Wolf forgot about Rocky Helmet on something, and then the second time, Wolf had like a +5 Mew, and then MV just crit it with Scald and O-code it with Manaphy.
Oh.
So I could see MV just lucking Wolf again, but in skill, it's really hard to call. They're really equal in skill level, but I don't know. Who do you think is going to win between Wolf and Gator then?
I am going to say Wolf.
Wolf, okay. 3-peat you got there. Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to say he's going to get a 3-peat. Yeah, I think he's going to get a 3-peat. That's what I'm going to go with. I think Gator.
No basis on it.
I think Gator's got like a couple of nice answers for the Sandcore, but the Sandcore still does a ton of work to Gator's team. And I think Gator's answers for the Sankor, like one of them being Mega Heracross, like there's like Wolfie has mandibles for it. He's got wheezing for it, so like he's got answers to deal with it. And then Celebi another answer for it. Like Wolfie's got Gengar, so I feel like the Sankor can rip through Gator's team, and with the Sankor backed up with the combination of Gengar and Mandy or wheezing, that would beat Gator's answers for the Sankor, and then eventually Gator will lose to a Sandrush Excadrill. So I think that's what it's going to be, because despite the skill, like there's all close on skill levels, so it's all based on the teams, and I think based on the matchup. I think Wolfie, if Wolfie goes down that kind of road of prep, I think that's where Wolfie wins.
All right, I like that idea. I'm curious to see it goes up next weekend, right? So
I should do, yeah, I should do. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. And if it happens, guys, I called it.
you called it here. You heard it right here. If Gator beats MV and then Wolf beats Gator with the Sandcore, this man's clearly the analyst the WBE needs.
Yeah, that's it. Honestly, A-Drive hit me up. You know, I'm the guy. I'm calling it all, and I'm actually.
This man has the third eye right here. I hope you're right now.
Just to say, Irish call that like for ages, you know. Brilliant. Right, I think that is it for this episode. I know we normally do have a more deeper recap for the draft leagues, but because there was just so much time, there was so much content, it's very hard to get through everything. But hopefully you guys did enjoy it. We'd love to hear you guys' feedback on our hot take. Don't forget our hot take. We'd love to hear your feedback on our hot take. Let us know what you guys think about the UBL, BBL, the Eon World Trophy, and the WBE. We'd love to hear you guys. Who do you guys think is going to win the WBE? And the fix my team segment. If you got teams, send them in to us. And if you guys got any feedback for myself and Jelly, let us know on Discord, on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, which is in the description, and either at OPJellicent or at IrishEmerald 1.
There you go. Yep. We'll be sure to hit it up and get it out.
Yeah, there we go. I think that's it, isn't it, bud?
Yeah, I think we're good. The recaps are fun. I think we spent a good amount of time on WBE, so we should be good here.
We should be good. And with that, I'm going to go get some food.
Yeah, I'm hungry too. Yeah. Later, guys.
All right, see you guys.